What's up, gamers? That's right. Is it going to be my final MAGFest? Was it my final MAGFest? Was it the best MAGFest? Let's talk about it. How's it going? Scotty Mo here, 2026, first official video of the year, unless you count that short. Go check it out, I guess. But MAGFest 20x6 2020, 20-something 6 happened, and I was there. I was there with friends. It's sold out. It's the second sold-out MAGFest I've been to, and it sold out in November, which I think was a record, like the soonest one of these has sold out, or quickest, or whatever it is. And as a result, people were trying to get tickets. I got tickets from my friends. There was some drama around that. DM me for the deets. I don't know. But it was good, because we got a lot of people together that haven't hung out in a while, and that was a lot of fun, driving down there and everything. They had an amazing lineup. You can tell where my notes are, right there. But they had Proto Men debuting Act 3. Proto Men debuting Act 3. Those words spoken out loud. Think of, wow. Well, chill out, buddy. Your turn's coming up. They had Johnny Giueli with some Sonic music. They had Casey Lee Williams with some Ruby music. Bit Brigade was there. Danimal Cannon, Mega Ran, Cybertronic Spree showed up. We'll talk about that, won't we? Yes, we will. Okay. Yeah, no, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Was it my final MAGFest? Maybe, because getting older, cons aren't getting any cheaper, and it's not down the street. But also, last year the theme was Sonic, and they had writers for the comics there, artists for the comics there, Sonic themed guests everywhere with TJ Davis, and then a lot of theme things around that. Between the merch, obviously the merch is like the thing that they always theme, or they pick the theme for mainly, I feel. But yeah, they had a lot of Sonic related things last year, and the vendor hall was amazing with the fan art and stuff. But this year with Mega Man, it felt like it was reinforced that we wouldn't get Mega Man voice actors. What could have had maybe some Mega Man panelists, but so much of it is rooted in Japan that I don't know how much they could bring over here, though I think they have brought people more directly related to Mega Man over before. But that in mind, that's, of course, you get the Proto Men, even though the theme was Mega Man X for MAGFest 20x6, and that was still cool, amazing that they had the Proto Men. Bit Brigade played Mega Man X, which was cool to see, the third SNES game I've ever seen them play. Last year they did Mario World and F-Zero, which was pretty neat. Not the best, but still cool to see. And anyway, I say that because Sonic-related MAGFest and everything around that was amazing, was phenomenal. I was there every single day you could have been. This year with Mega Man X was really cool, but I went to hang out with friends first and foremost, but also just go to MAGFest. It's been some time. My wife was able to go down as well, so she hasn't been to a MAGFest since 2020, which was pretty neat. 2020 was not pretty neat. I mean, it was neat that she was able to go to another MAGFest. Yeah. But yeah, let's roll through it. Let's see. You know, I've got a pile of stuff. We can talk about some stuff. Cut to shots of cool things and people and stuff. Stuff is happening. I mentioned the lineup of music. There were two main photo shoot areas this year. The main one was normally in front of the fountain, and that's great for, just the scenery, the shots, the background, and everything. They had a second spot, which was essentially a warehouse room with a tarp behind you, or a cloth or something draped. And it was interesting to see how the might had fallen, because the whole Sonic thing was over there. Mega Man themed stuff was amazing. I'll share a bunch of it's happening now as I'm talking. I don't know why I'm telling you. I'm telling myself for production, for fix it in post what's gonna show up on the screen. But very cool to always see cosplayers there just going all out with that stuff. And Rachel and I actually cosplayed as well. It was her idea to be Parappa the Rapper, because she's had the beanie, thanks Corey, and I decided, that makes sense for me to go Jammer Lammy, so I did. Look at us, we're adorable, and it was very cool seeing people's reactions. I was told twice that there was a Parappa 2 tournament. I was told twice by the same person. I think I was in disguise the second time accidentally. But yeah, that was pretty neat, and it's fun to cosplay with stuff that's convenient, I guess. You know, you figure out the ones that work logistically and everything. Did play a few games. The arcade was stacked this year with a lot more Japanese stuff, which was great. I played Daytona 2 Battle on the Edge. You're welcome, Brett. And I barely finished a race with my one opponent. They had 3 set up, but only 2 were ever working together. And I didn't even finish the race. Like, it timed out, and then I looked over and saw that the other dude I was racing against also timed out. He got further than me, but it was, man, it was difficult. It's not the same as the, you know, the OG. I mean, it's a different game, different track. No, was that the same? No, it was a different track that was not in the first one. But I looked over at the other guy that I was playing against, and he's like, that's not as easy as the first, or he said something like, that's harder than the first one. I was like, yep. So it was cool that we both agreed it was rough, but still had fun doing it. Played an on-rail shooter, roller coaster thing with Rachel, found some stuff. Only in Japan arcades. It was insane looking, like a 3-screen Gundam game. It's like one step from VR, essentially. There was a game that I don't remember the name of, and you're looking at it now, but it had a tiny virtual girl dancing in front of a PSP game and a Disney Infinity Toys to Life thing. I couldn't figure out how to play it, and then come to learn later, I walked by it again, and kids touching the screen. I couldn't figure out how to do anything with the buttons, and had a boomer Scotty moment. Was like, oh, I didn't think to touch the screen because I'm old. Oh gosh, what else? Killer Queen happened. That was awesome. Corey, Nick, AJ, and I all played Killer Queen with a rando, and it was a good time all around. I'm glad we just got a Killer Queen round in. There was a helicopter game called Malibu, and I was blown away by it, no pun intended, but I found it on Thursday, the slower day, which was great, and, you know, bring over my buddies and tell everybody, like, did you see this helicopter game? Because it looked like it should have come out in, like, the 70s, but it was apparently brand new. The QR thing and, like, factoid thing said it was one of 2 made. And come to find, did some digging before this, it is hard to explain the game, but you are flying a helicopter and hitting these little metal conductors with your dangly wing rods on the side of yourself, and they light up, and as you hit them, another one lights up, and you gotta just go in a circle, and it's weighted so that you can balance and stuff. But it's actually an old 1969 game called Whirlybird by Midway, and somebody refurbished it and made it into this Malibu game. I don't know if Midway just doesn't own it or something, or how legal it is that this thing exists, but it was pretty cool, and I recommend trying it if you find it somewhere. Quick sidebar, I did find the Malibu helicopter game by Fells Games for the low price of $5,000 or so. If you want to grab one of the 2, go ahead and do that. Back to the video. Indie games, barely played any of them, unfortunately, but it was still fun. What I did play, Chef It Up, a 4-player. Think of Overcooked, but it's split on one arcade machine, and each of you have a side, and you have a different role, but you have to kind of coordinate with each other and yell at each other. I had an easy roll at first that didn't fully make sense to me, and then we found some, I don't know, we learned how to do different parts, and it was fun once we figured stuff out, and it was fun once you learn how to play the game. So there was that. Bruisin' Cruisers was a good one. It's a top-down racing, not racing, I guess, survival driving. I don't know what you would call it, because you have to bump people off the side or into the wall to regain health for your car that's diminishing as you're driving. They had cool little POC business cards, and I dropped mine in the car where it falls, you know, right in between the seat, the impossible canyon. I'll find that someday. But it was a business, it was a POG with a QR code on the back, which was pretty cool. Museum, that was awesome. Played some Nidhogg, which I guess is my game. This is the first time I ever played Nidhogg, and I wasn't doing too bad, but that was pretty cool to do and hang out with friends on a couch, playing games while people are talking about video games and hanging around, talking about video games. The vendor hall, Friday was not the day to go. It was overwhelming. Pro tip, maybe visit after 9 p.m. if you're going to the vendor hall at MAGFest when it sells out, or sometime in the evening, I guess. It needs to, I wish it could be spread out somehow, maybe a little bit more. Maybe MAG's gotten too big for that. I don't know. I would say just like, just be aware of if your friends look like they're a little overwhelmed, maybe walk out, take a breather, and explore the CVS or something. Find that loofah that you forgot to pack. So vendor hall was insane, but Saturn Bomberman tournament, the Saturn scene has grown thanks to emulation, and it's pretty cool because last year I tied for first. This year I did not take home first, and that's great because that means like I could hear people around me talking about it, like knowing what's going on in the game, and it was really cool because I didn't die due to bullcrap. I died because there are better players. Finally, right? No, but it was a lot of fun, and I did have fun on one round where this dude was just pummeling everybody else, so I was following him on the field and not laying a single bomb, just trying to psych him out, and I think it kind of worked. It was fun to just mess with them, because I knew I wasn't going to win, so it was, you know, that trolling, in-game trolling. I don't know, it's all in good fun, but Saturn Bomberman was amazing. Got the annual ribbon for that. I forgot to show this off at the beginning, but the MAGFest badge, the badge. There we go. That's me. And I got some. I thought since it was Mega Man themed, there'd be more Mega Man Legends stuff because I'm the weirdo that's his favorite Mega Man game. And there was some cool cosplay, but got some different ones there. My buddy Nick had a couple different ribbons as well because he was cosplaying. And then I did get that final one from an awesome booth and decided, well, I cannot add anything else to this because that has to be the final ribbon, right? Duh. If you know, you know, nerds. So after Bomberman, dinner with friends, things were crazy and we forgot to get a group photo, unfortunately. I was happy that we got to just hang out and do our own thing and go our own ways differently, or separately, through each day and everything. And cosplayers, there was an awesome Gideon from Snatcher cosplay. There was a Tron cosplay. Haha, kidding. Daft Punk, pretty neat. Tetris cosplayers, so many other cosplayers in the photo shoots that I mentioned. I only saw 2 panels. One was a how-to mosh pit, basically. Pretty cool. Pretty fun, pretty ridiculous. A lot of ska, so that's always good. And then the other one was regarding Katamari, the score and soundtracks of the Katamari games, and that composer and other games that they've been involved in, and games related to that series. That was really neat. I took a picture of like every single slide on there because I want to look up other games and music and stuff. So hey, let's get into stuff we bought. Boom, 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 wham, bam, boom. So showed you the badge, showed you this, showed you Act frickin' 3, Proto Men. They reminded us how old we all are, that it's 15 years in the making. So I don't. It's a CD. There's, you know, if you don't know, Proto Men are it's post-apocalyptic Mega Man concept albums in the form of a rock opera. Get them, get it, support them. I realized I have another one on the way that I pre-ordered through Bandcamp, and then I bought that at MAGFest and forgot. But you know what? Everyone should buy 2 copies. They deserve that much support. So let's talk about some things we got. I did the bundle because you can see the shirt, and with that I got the pin and lanyard. So fun little pin, lanyard, pretty nice lanyard, pretty cool. And then we get into the fan art. Got an awesome Sonic sticker, gay rights. These are some awesome collabs. Billy Hatcher, instead of pushing the Great Big Egg, he's pushing Ai from Super Monkey Ball. We got Knights hanging out with Samba de Amigo. There was a lot of awesome Sega and Sonic and different fan art with that, which I thought, like, maybe I'll find some, like I said, Legends stuff, but did not. There was a lot of platformer-related things. Like, you don't see Croc fan art ever. So I had to get this keychain, but they had, like, Klonoa, they had Parappa, Jammer, they had Balin from Ballin' Wonderworld. That was insane to see. And I can't remember. No, this was a different one. But they had just straight up Dreamcast stuff. And so what do you get when you see Dreamcast stuff? The game that has no fan art, Sega Bass Fishing, the keychain. Huh? How about that? Pretty slick, huh? I think so. It's just the bass. How about that bass? And then let me show the pin. I got the other, the official pin from the merch place at MAG. The merch place. Some call it a table. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Let me interrupt myself and say another indie game was there. Beatdown City, Treachery and Beatdown City. That's crazy because I covered that for Sega Addicts like a long time ago. I unfortunately was not able to stop by when the dev was there to say hi again. I interviewed him at PAX East in like 2010 or something. Yowza. But very cool to see that that game was out there. And then some of my top 3 pieces of merch, top 4-ish, we'll say. Someone had a bunch of Sonic pins, and they had them in a gacha machine, so I got Metal Sonic in the gacha, and then I said, can I just buy one of those IDW ones, which is how you had to get them? And I got Lanolin, so that was pretty neat. Magazine. MAGFest has had a magazine, I guess. I didn't know that, and it's very cool. It talks about the swag in there. It has interviews with Cybertronic Spree. Johnny Gioeli wrote something in here. They had some contributing writers like him and other artists. Pretty neat, though. Like, hefty and durable. Yep. I like it. And then one more thing I got. This cool little stitched up Chow. Look at this guy. I'm gonna bring him to work, even though we got kind of a unplanned Chow sanctuary over here with the tech deck, and the that's from MAGFest like 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, look at this guy. It's great. It's cool. Just so much awesome fan art and awesome fans and people that make it, and it was great to see all of that. Whoa, hey, future Scotty Moe here. In the future, we wear beanies and have persistent back problems. Want to pop back in because I realized I forgot to show off the piece of art that I got, the wall art. Look at this amazing Knuckles art. Boom. Look at that. So good. Microphone. I don't have any more wall space, but I had to get this because he looks cute, and he found an emerald piece, and he's got that hat on. I'm a sucker for Knuckles and his OVA hat. If you know, you know, you know, you know, you know. Alright, let's get back to it. MAGFest was just such a good time again. Since it's sold out, and it was also gated this year in terms of like the hotel, you could only get in if you had a MAGFest badge, but because of that, you could actually find parking. It was not insane to find parking, so that was really cool. But it can be overwhelming, so just, keep that in mind. Give yourself your breathing space when you need to and everything. But yeah, the parking garages not being as full was awesome. I will say, in previous years though, because it was so crowded and just other things, it would be nice if they went back to 2 stages for the concerts, like 2, Warped Tour style or something, where the band's finished and the other one has been setting up during their last 2 songs or something, and so they can just hop on and go. And that was really nice. The one year they had, they've had that for a little, maybe only a couple years, I can't remember. But they were in the same room, the stages were in the same room. You'd literally walk, it was like Scott Pilgrim, if I recall correctly. The final battle of the bands, stages on opposite sides and stuff. Speaking of the concerts though, we ducked out of, so Proto Men did Acts 1, 2, and 3 in the order of Act 2, Act 1, and then debuted 3 fully. And then they did an encore, which involved 80% of the musical guests, because Cybertronic Spree was on stage with Hot Rod, Soundwave, and RC. I don't know anyone's names in other bands, sorry, but the bassist from Bit Brigade was there. Danimal Cannon from Danimal Cannon was on stage. A couple members of the Megas, and maybe the drummer from Bit Brigade too. Mega Ran was up there hitting their giant bass drum, their concert bass, and it was just, I think that's everybody. That was awesome. I found, you can find it online, but we ducked out early to check out the museum and had an interesting interaction with an interesting individual. There were a lot of, not a lot. There was, Nick, stop talking to everybody. That's all I'll say about that. But some stuff that is funny, during the downtime of sound check and whatever, and just waiting for everything, they would zoom in on a water bottle on one of the giant screens that they had on either sides of the stage. They'd zoom in on a water bottle. I sound like a psychopath describing this, but the crowd would cheer or be sad if it got kicked over. Things like that, or whoever's working that camera knows what they're doing. But yeah, 2 stages would have been great. And I don't know what, MAGFest, a lot of things were run smoother this year. I noticed when I asked to sign up for the Bomberman tournament because it wasn't showing you. Just walk up to a screen, click, scan your badge code that's on it, and whatever. There's a barcode, and then. But I noticed it wasn't on there, and it was the next day, and I was like, "Hey, do you know when I can sign up for the Bomberman tournament? It's still happening tomorrow, right?" And the guy at the person in the arcade area was like, or tournament. The guy sitting there behind the laptop, he said, "Yeah, midnight tonight, you'll be able to start signing up for that." But he like knew right away. That has not happened in the past, that people just knew an answer and didn't bullshit me and stuff. Whoops. Yeah, it was a good show overall. Really cool hanging out with friends, seeing friends, but also being able to branch off and just do our own thing and see so much stuff. And I think it worked out well with them needing a badge to get into MAGFest, except for the selling out part, because that caused some extra stress. That was brand new and reminded me of the PAX East days. But it is what it is. Yeah, did you guys go to MAG though? The thing is though, I don't know what they could do to get me back in terms of a theme. Mega Man's theme really only applied to the merch and sort of the bands. Sonic's theme, you had musical guests, you had artists, you had writers, you had obviously the fan art and stuff like themed around it, but the panels that I didn't see a lot of Mega Man panels that were nothing besides explaining Mega Man, or parts of it. So, and that's not a slam on Mega Man. I like Mega Man. Legends is my favorite. Just look at this. This just showed up yesterday. Hot dog. So that's, I think, everything I've got to say about MAGFest though. It's always so much fun. It's currently my favorite convention. But is it going to be my last MAGFest? It's a great convention. It's an exhausting convention, but for a lot of good reasons. And I have local stuff here. It's the theme that's gonna have to bring me down, or maybe if I skip a couple and it's a reason to hang out with people again. Not that, well, the marathon hasn't physically happened. The Dreamcast marathon that I do every year hasn't physically happened in this house, so I think MAGFest sort of took the place of that. Is this TMI? I don't know. We're talking it through. MAGFest was amazing. Possibly my last one, though, if they have some sort of crazy theme that'll get me down there, I think. We'll see. Up next will be Techo, I believe. And, yeah. How's 2026 going? Alright, guys. A lot's happening. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, you know what? I'll just throw it in there. Thanks, everybody, for Extra Life. Destroyed my goal. I'm gonna get a tattoo added here because of it. You'll see what it is, or what it will be. If you've watched this, maybe you've watched my stream. If you've watched this. If you're watching this, maybe you've watched my streams. If you donated, thank you. It makes a difference, and it's very cool how much people show up for that. So stay hydrated. 2026 might be our year. Happy 35th to Sonic. That guy. Oh, we gotta do the thumbnail. Gotta be pensive about it, right? You gotta do like... That's probably good, right? Thanks, guys.